You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
ABC Mondays. The Bachelor is back, and everyone is falling for America's heartthrob, Joey Graziadei.
Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10.
He's taking another shot at love.
I am definitely ready to find my wife.
But will he find his perfect match?
I am freaking out.
I'm about to lose it.
There's something I need to know.
I'm done here.
I thought it would be easier.
The Bachelor. New Mondays, 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, streaming January 25th, only on Netflix.
Since 1979, TireRack.com has been helping people find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. They sell only the best, like the full line of Bridgestone tires. Test results, ratings, and reviews are there to assist. Or try the Tire Decision Guide to get a personalized tire recommendation. Tires ship fast and free to you or one of over 10,000 recommended installers. In many areas, they offer mobile tire installation that comes to your home or office. Shop Bridgestone tires at TireRack.com.
Good people, welcome back to another episode. I have, joining me yet again, Mr. J. Leonard J., one of my very favorite people to talk to, and the guest with the most recurring appearances on the podcast. He's been on 4 times, and, I mean, you'll see why. The man's a delight. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, please do. The man is an amazing guitar player, and I personally think his YouTube demos only show a small fraction of what he can do. He's blown my mind consistently. Every time I've seen him at a trade show, I'm just like, man, this guy is a beast of a player. So incredible, and he's such a fun dude. Like, just such a fun dude. So, yeah, check out all of that. And one thing I wanted to mention is I've seen something really cool happen with this podcast that I never, ever expected. So if you have not yet, when you get done listening to this episode, go back and check out the episode with Devon Whitaker. People are taking samples of that podcast episode and running it through effects. Like, there's a particular passage that's really resonated with people, and I won't say what it is because I would like you to find your own, but that was just one of the best conversations I've had on this show, and it's apparently really resonating with people. They're starting to post clips to Instagram and like actually taking pieces of this podcast and utilizing it in creative ways, and I just think that is mind-blowing and so cool. The fact that people are taking a snippet of these conversations or this particular conversation and making art with it is like the coolest thing to me. That is so cool. I'd never, of all the things that I've got to do and experience from doing this show, that is not something I thought was going to happen. So check that episode out if you haven't already. Again, I think it's like one of the best of, like, really, it's a great episode. We don't even talk about guitars all that much, but it's a great episode. Anyway, this one with Jay is up there too, because all of the ones with Jay are fantastic. He is a incredible human being, and yeah, let's not cloud this up anymore. Let's get right to it. Here's an episode with J. Leonard J. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast, the show about guitar tone and the people behind it. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me, I think I have to double check, but you might be the guest with the most appearances on the show, Mr. J.
Really?
I think so.
Wow,
I think
geez.
So. I think you've been
mark on the page
3 times, I think. I have to double check. I think 3 times, and this is the 4th. I believe.
Wow, holy crow. Look at that. I'm really happy to have that crown. I'll take it. I'll wear it with pride. Number 1 with a bullet.
Hey. Yeah. Well, I can't think of anyone else who I'd rather have be the number 1. Can't think of anybody else.
There you go.
So I need to address things real quick.
Yes.
again, I have to apologize to you because I was a little bit late to this. I got sidetracked. I was doing some exercising, some socially distant exercising at the park, and I decided that to refuel from that, I needed some ramen. There was only one place that delivers ramen here, and I'd never had it before. And I generally like things pretty spicy, so I ordered what they call hell ramen. And I was talking to Jack DeVille on the phone, telling him like, "Hey, I'm going to be eating while I'm talking because I got this podcast I'm going to be doing in a little bit. But what's going on?" And as he was, chewing the fat with me, I realized why they called it what they called it, because it was way hotter than I was expecting. It was like,
oh no.
It was delicious. And I'm gonna finish it, but I was just eating it like it was regular spicy ramen, like I've experienced before, and it's a lot hotter than anything I've ever had. I was like, "Oh, Jack, I'm sorry." I'm like, I got to put my mouth under the faucet, and it was like I was in rough shape there for a minute because I was just taking these enormous bites right out of the gate. I wasn't prepared. Yeah.
You have a pretty good tongue for the spicy stuff, though, right?
Yeah,
From the man I know, he could handle the spicy stuff. So this must be some pretty intense fire ramen going on over here.
Yeah, I can handle the heat fairly well. I really like spicy food. I think if I had known how spicy it was, I would have taken it a little bit slower, but I was really hungry. And so I was just like, let's pound this down. I got a podcast to do. And then I should have been more conservative.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made it. That sounds like an emergency and a half. How's your mouth feeling right now? You feeling good? You feeling confident? I'm
feeling pretty good. Yeah. I'm definitely going to finish it later. For sure. I just need to be more cautious, I guess. I was overconfident in my spicy abilities.
Evidently. I've been I always start slow and then work my way up. So, if I get something I don't know, get a little touch on the tongue, let it sit, and okay, I can handle this, and I'll just go for it. That's how I do it.
I've never had a ramen that I considered to be too spicy.
Really?
Ramen I've always been able to just like go to town. I'm like, this could be hotter. In retrospect, this ramen is probably just right for me. I just was hammering it down, and I think that was the big problem.
I've had a couple ex-girlfriends back in the day, and they were Indian. And I always want to look, when you're going on a date, you want to look like, oh, look at me, I'm a big deal. I can handle this, whatever, it means nothing to me. It's just, because you want to you want to look kind of like you got stuff together. So I definitely, I understand where that can be. That's where I've learned my technique, or I've learned how to, or I learn how to hide it in a pretty good way. But yeah, I definitely, I know what it's like to go a little bit beyond the grasp, but I've definitely trained the body now. I'm at a good place where I feel like I'm on top of it.
Yeah. I was too. I thought I was. I just got overconfident. Like my wife made this cheese ball, and oh man, it's so good. She puts little bacon bits in it and little jalapenos in there, and I'm always like, we need to spice this up a little bit. Like the jalapeno is a nice start, but the other day I had her make a habanero version, and that's where it's at, man.
That's good. See, you're lucky. See, I have little toddler. Well, you have the kids too. I have like these two, like a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So all the food I eat is just the most bland, flavorless. All the toppings are separated because they're so picky. So I actually, speaking of Indian food, I had Indian food about a week ago because I was in the studio and I had people come in and we decided to order Indian food. And I will tell you, it's a joy to have food with flavor and to have the spice. So I am a little bit jealous hearing about your spicy cheese ball.
Well, if you're ever in town, we'll have to get you some. That's what
Deal.
We'll do.
Done.
But yeah, my kids are really picky too. My son's just like, he's actually turned 5 today.
Oh man, so grown up,
which is so weird. So weird. But he just like, he's always telling me, he's like, I don't like sauce. Like, you do too like sauce. Like, don't tell me you don't like sauce. That's a stupid thing to say. Like, I don't tell him he's stupid, but I'm like, you do too like sauce. Like, come on. Like, everyone likes some kind of sauce. Like,
yes.
And he does like sauce. He just likes to say that he doesn't. Because his cheeseburgers he gets from Burgerville has a sauce on it. And he's like, well, that's the only kind of sauce I like. Like, that's not true, kid.
Does butter count as a sauce? So butter's a sauce.
Is butter a sauce?
Is butter
butter a condiment?
Sauce. That's a sauce around. Butter is a sauce. Like oil on a pan. In my kids' eyes, that's a sauce.
That's sauce, man.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
Man, you know, a man, you know, what's the saying? Is a man with no sauce is lost, but you can also get lost in the but you can also get lost in the sauce. That's what they say.
Oh man, you get lost in the sauce. Well, there you go. See, I don't know where you found these sayings. I don't know that one.
I believe that was a rapper.
It was a rapper.
I think it was a rapper. I don't know.
P. Diddy.
Was it Birdman? I don't remember who it was.
I don't know.
I bet I can pull that up.
I like saying P. Diddy because every time I say P. Diddy, it's nice to come out of my mouth, and it seems so unnatural for my mouth to say P. Diddy. Mm-hmm. That's cool. I can dig that.
It is. It was Gucci Mane. That's who said it.
Gucci Mane. I don't even know what that is.
Well, he's a rapper, and he has ice cream tattooed on his face.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're more in depth with the hip hop community than I am, then, because I don't know that. What's the hit? What's the hit song?
I don't know. This is the extent that I know. I just saw it in a meme one time, and I thought I thought it was a funny saying.
You know the lyrics, you just don't know the song. I was like, wow, okay, cool.
No, I just saw it in a meme, and I thought it was a good saying, so I say it sometimes.
That's a good saying, though. I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can quote Gucci Mane. Like
Gucci Mane. All right, done. I'm gonna look that up right now.
We'll discuss this. We'll discuss this off the air.
Definitely,
we'll get into it. Speaking of hip hop, though, this kind of does tie into a random guitar related thing.
Here we go.
Did you see a couple? Well, probably a month ago now. The live stream that wow, my brain's failing. Post Malone did, where he was doing the Nirvana covers.
You know, I heard a lot of people have been talking about that, but I know I completely missed it. Did you watch that?
I did.
I heard that was actually really good.
It was really good. Like, and Travis Barker just on drums, just killing it. Like,
yeah, of course.
Which isn't really shocking to anybody, I guess. But man, they did a really, really good job overall. I thought it was great.
And it was kind of a little outside that kind of hip hop R&B grungy thing that he does. It's kind of, did he actually go full in on that style, or did he kind of mix it into his own sound?
Nope, he like basically covered it, like just straight up.
That's cool. I love that.
As is, he went totally outside of his norm. It was great.
I love it when musicians do it, because when we listen to a lot of musicians that we like, or pop singers, right? We tend to kind of put them in a lane, and that's what you do, and that's all you can really do, and you're only this. And then every once in a while they'll do something, and you're like, you know what? There's a reason why this person became so popular. There's, it's they found something that that's theirs and their identity, and they've grown it. But most great musicians and most people that are really successful, they really have a really deep skill set, and it's really nice to see that shine. But too bad I missed it.
Well, I think it's up on YouTube. I think they saved it, so you can go back and give it a. You don't gotta watch the whole thing, but I definitely would check out a couple songs. It was impressive and fun.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to. You're not the first person to talk about that to me, so I can't wait to check it out. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It's kind of old news at this point, but it was still really good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm that behind, I think.
It's not even like it was that long ago. We just have a 24-hour news cycle. That's all it is.
That's true. I feel like a lot has been going on in a very short period of time. It's been a pretty crazy. It's just been crazy. You know what I mean? My whole perception of time in general over the last 4 or 5 months has been crazy. It's like Independence Day is coming up.
I know.
Like that's a thing. It's almost Independence Day. Or I actually made a point in my head to say Independence Day. In my head, I was going to say Canada Day, But I was like, no one knows what that is. So I had to like stop myself and go, oh no, but Independence Day, it's like it's July's coming up. Can you imagine that? Like, I remember March happening, and then now I'm here today. And then just a bunch of like stuff in the middle that was just, what's going on. It's just so much information and stuff. And then all of a sudden we're in a completely different time period. It's a wonderfully crazy year.
Yeah. I mean, I was like,
crazy.
I was going like, just because like, this is also old news, and this might be shocking to some people, but like, well, it was almost, gee whiz. It was, December, not last December, but the December before. So like a year and a half ago, we had some tremendous smoke damage to our house. And a lot of people who listen to this podcast remember that because it happened right in the middle of me recording with Seth and Brady from Old Blood. And I had to like pause and like go in the house, realize that the smoke damage had occurred and there was nothing we could do about it. Told my wife to like go to grandma's and finish the podcast. So, but what where I was going with that is a lot of our paperwork was destroyed. And so I've been unburying myself from like tax stuff and trying to make sure all my, trying to recover as many records as I could, because all of that was just gone.
Crazy.
And so that said, like I haven't gotten to do my 2019 taxes yet, which is annoying to say the least, because that's not me.
What are the taxes due in the States right now?
So normally they would have been due in April.
Right? Yeah.
But I think that's right. I'd have to check with my CPA. Anyway, but they extended them to July because of the COVID stuff. And yeah. So all that to say is when I heard they were extending them to July, I kind of breathed the sigh of relief. I was like, okay, that gives me a little more time to get this sorted out. Just because like I have to go back through and like I said, I'm still digging through digital files from 2 years ago to make sure all my ducks are in a row. And I'm like, oh no, it's next month. I gotta hurry up. Like it's already here.
Well, you made it. You're good.
Yes, I'll be fine. I'll get it
You'll
done.
Be fine.
I'll get it done with plenty of time. I just was like, oh, you need to finish that now.
Yeah. I'm the worst when it comes to tax time. Luxie, we had it moved to June, so I finished. I got it done just in time. Like the clock just went right, the click, and then it was submitted. I was right there. But oh man, I always tell myself, I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to get organized. I'm going to I have a system, and I'm going to every once a month I'm going to sit down. I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to get it done. Get a little glass of wine, deal with the finances and the income and the what do you call it, the expenses and everything. No, it never happens. It never happens. But it's good. I actually I enjoy the paperwork. I enjoy like preparing my taxes. I don't do the filing. I actually have an accountant, but I do all the the bookkeeping and everything. I take a special pride in how pretty my books look. It's just like it's glistening, but it's always completely last minute and just right up to the last possible second. But I do enjoy the process. I'm one of the few, I think. You
are, because I hate it. I know that that you have to do it and you got to be responsible. Got to make sure, we got to be adults here. But man, I hate it. Man, I hate it so much. It's like I like it because it's like problem solving, especially for me, because I have like income coming from this country and I got expenses there and then I travel and all the thing. And then every once in a while there'll be like 2 cents that's just not accounted for. And then it's like I feel like Indiana Jones, like just in the dungeon, there's like darts coming everywhere and like journal entries and CPPs just being thrown at me, and then all of a sudden, there's the 2 cents, and then I could like be really proud of myself until the next problem. So I don't know what it is. There's something in me. In me. Maybe I could have been an accountant in another life. Who knows? You like what you like. There's nothing wrong with that. Like here, taxes are so funny. I saw, again, everything's a meme these days, but I saw a meme that was like, government, pay your taxes or we'll throw you in jail. And then the citizen says, okay, how much do I owe? And the government says, well, you have to figure that out. But if you get it wrong, we're going to throw you in jail. And it was like, I'm kind of butchering it, but then the citizen's like, okay, I think it's this much. And the government's like, no, that's not right. It's like,
Yeah,
this
right.
back and
Exactly.
forth. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
you tell them, but then they tell you if you're wrong. And yeah, it's so crazy.
Oh, see, I'm lucky I haven't ever been audited. So maybe that's why I'm so positive about this whole tax thing right now, because it's never happened to me, which means now that I brought it out into the universe, it's totally going to happen.
Oh,
But,
man.
you know, I can't imagine. I had a friend of mine that went through it. Oh, it sounds horrible. It sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like the worst. But oh well. Well, I guess that's part of the journey. So have you been buying a lot of gear in the last couple months?
Well, sort of. I've had new gear come into my life that I have to buy it. Like, so like Barry from Grez Guitars came on the show here a few months back, and before he did, or right after he did, I can't remember. No, it was just before he came on the show. He emailed me and he's like, "Hey, by the way, I sent you a guitar on loan for a little bit. It should be there in a few days." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he had my address because before all this COVID thing, he vacations in Portland once in a while, and he's like, "We'll plan a vacation and I'll come to the shed and do a recording." And so he had my address. Well, so this guitar shows up, and there's no way I can send it back to him. I have to buy it. I can't.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's one of the best guitars I've ever played. It's too nice.
Mm-hmm.
I have to buy it from him now. So that will be a purchase that is coming up soon.
Oh, really?
It's a semi-hollow. It's mostly hollow, baritone, and it's so good. Oh, it's so good, Jay. I don't deserve it, but I'm gonna buy it anyway.
You know, I have trouble with new guitars, and it's because I'm an amp guy, right? So I'm typically pretty what's the word? Very I'm faithful to my guitars. You know, I have a small collection that I use. But another problem with it is when I get a new guitar and I use it on like the YouTube page, everyone's mad at me because they want to see the blue Telecaster.
Oh,
so
no!
It's like I've kind of put myself in a corner because. A lot of other YouTubers, oh, look at this guy, he has a different guitar. They don't care. But for me, it's because I've done so many blue Telecaster videos. I can't play any other guitar in my videos because everyone knows what it sounds like and they kind of identify me by it and everything like that. So it's very hard for me to justify getting a new guitar because when I play it on the page, no, everyone wonders where the other guitar is. But that being said, I do. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say that's really funny, but it does make sense. I've seen you with that guitar more than anything else.
Anything, yeah. I would probably maybe 80% of my videos, more probably. I usually put 2 in a video. Like I'll give you like a humbucker option and then a single coil, my Tele sound. But yeah, it's definitely it's just identifiable. They kind of know me by it, and I know the guitar really, really well really well. So. It's easier for me to play. It's less stressful, I guess, when I'm playing it. But I do like playing other guitars. And when I have a run of like 4 or 5 videos where it's not the Telecaster, I get in trouble. I get in trouble. And it's too bad because I love, it's good to have guitars, when I play. It's not like I'm playing live anymore, right? Because the last 4 months I've played one show post-COVID. And it was a wedding. And it was the weirdest. It was wonderfully weird and awkward, but really cool and really crazy. But I've only had one gig since COVID. And so it's not like, I could get this guitar so I can gig with it, or I'll get this guitar. And then when it comes to guitars I record, I kind of have all the sounds I need. But, you just look at guitars and you look online, they look so pretty and they're so cool and so quirky. But yeah, it's just so hard for me to justify getting a new guitar. But the latest guitar I got was I got the Equitz Rayburn. That's the latest one. That's so the latest one I have.
So good.
Yeah, it's a cool one. I got it at NAMM, and then actually I had a couple like I'm really eccentric and I have a lot of ideas, so I gave it back to him to do some more stuff to it. So
really?
It came with he made it with like a big 50s kind of neck, like a really meaty thing. but I'm kind of a faster player, so I had him kind of make it more like it's in right now. He has it in a sweet spot. It's like in between a Gibson 60s neck and like a Strat 60s neck. Even the spacing, or they call it the nut width, is like right in between the two. So it's a very cool feeling. And I had him switch some of the switches so it's in the right place when I do my weird strummy stuff, right? Because I have a weird strummy technique that, you know, it's kind of harder to do on certain guitars. So he kind of made it so it's easier for me to do it. And so, yeah, I got it and I'm really excited for it. So it's been pretty cool stuff. That's the latest guitar. It's only been in one video so far. It's going to be in a lot more, but I really enjoy that.
Man, Kevin makes such great stuff. He's
a really nice guy too. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. I know he's wonderful to talk to, and he's really sweet, and his family's wonderful too. So you know, come on.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite dudes in the biz and in the podcast community. You know, it's like, I'm so happy to have gotten to meet that guy. And, you know, I have a Rayburn too. And I love it very much. Very, very much.
We should have a Rayburn showdown. That's what we can do.
Ooh, look at that.
You know, see what I'm saying? I have a couple guitars that are on my list of guitars that either I want or I want to try. So maybe if you tried, maybe I'll tell them, and maybe you could tell me what you think of them, because maybe you've tried them, right? So guitar I want to try, Millimetric.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever? They look really cool. My wife doesn't think they look cool, but I think they look really, really cool. How do you? Because you have a Millimetric, right?
Yeah. I have a baritone.
Yes. What do you think of those guitars?
Oh, they're tremendous. They're amazing.
Tremendous.
I would say the best fretwork I've ever personally experienced. Ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a bold statement over there.
Yeah. Okay. I cannot think of nicer fretwork that I have ever experienced. He made my neck a little bit bigger than he normally does, and I think it's perfect because, you know, I like those fatty necks.
Yes, fatty necks are lovely.
The fit and finish is, I mean, they are as legit as it gets. Let me put it to you that way. They are very, very, very well crafted. And then he sends them in this flight case. Like, it's made by Nanook. It was normally a rifle case.
Oh, I know that company. Company.
Yeah. So it's like the Canadian version of Pelican cases for all the US listeners.
That's right.
Heavy duty thing.
Where are they? I know they're made in Canada, but where in Canada are they made?
I don't remember. I'd have to Google that. But he sends it in one of those, and they're like custom water jet cut the foam for your specific guitar, and then it has the model and the serial number also cut into the foam. It's just he does such a good job at presenting them, and yeah, it plays fantastically, and as you know, looks pretty wild.
Yeah, they look so cool. They look wonderful, and it's just quirky, and they look fun, kind of 50s space age, you know? It's just really, really cool. On my list, I got to try it. So you got the ringing endorsement, so maybe I'll find, and they're Canadian. Like, how am I not supposed to try this guitar out? Actually, I was doing that Great Canadian Rig series.
Yes.
And it was between Millimetric and Frank Brothers. And I ended up reaching out to Frank Brothers just because I've done some stuff with them in the past. And so I knew them very well, and I had a good relationship. But maybe I should give Millimetric a second look, because they just seem so cool.
Yeah, Florian's really cool. He's been on the podcast before. Actually, he's been on twice. Once for a really very short one at Fear the Riff, and then one full episode. And yeah, he's a good dude.
See, wonderful. See, this is so okay. So done. I'm gonna go. I have to check that out. There's one guitar I've played. It was actually my favorite guitar I've tried, and I've always wanted one. It's a company called McMull. They're based in Israel. Have you ever heard of them? They're based in Israel, and they're very traditional. Like, if you're thinking, you know, Rayburn and Millimetric, those are very quirky, very, very stylized guitars. Whereas you look at the McMull, they do have a more traditional thing, and they make this thing called a Heartbreaker, and it's like it kind of looks like a Telly, but they kind of messed up with the pick guard a little bit. And you know, when you first look at it, it just kind of looks like a kind of a cool version of a Telecaster. Like, the pick guard looks really, really neat. It looks really tasteful, and the bursts look really pretty. So it's pretty to look at.
I'm pulling
But,
it up right now. I want to see what you're talking about.
check it out. Look at the McMull Heartbreaker. And they make one with P90s, which look just...
Yeah, that looks really nice.
And it's like clean and classic and, very, very slick. And it's very, very kind of, it's simple and stuff. But what I like about it is in terms of very, very few times I pick up something and immediately like it. That happens very, very rarely with me. It happened, I could probably say maybe 4 or 5 times in my life. And I tried one of their Heartbreakers and it was one of those times. And I was talking to them and it ends up, they put crazy amounts of detail. Like, the pickup, there's no set winding on it. They actually tune the pickups to the wood. So they kind of, everything is made specific. There's no specific set specs for anything. They actually have they kind of tailor it to the characteristics they're hearing in the guitar. So I guess some people might think that's not a real thing. Some people might not, but I do know that from a harmonic standpoint, it resonates so lovely and it sounds so rich and has a lot of character and a lot of detail. And definitely, I think if I was going to buy another Telecaster style guitar, it'd probably be one of those, a little McMull Heartbreaker. So that would be that guitar on my list. I just have to justify getting a McMull. And they're all the way in Israel too, so it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing to get it taken over here, but they're expensive, but they're cool. I'll give it my thumbs up on that one.
Cool. Did you play that at NAMM or something?
I played it. I first heard of them. I went to Thomann. Mm-hmm. And in Germany, and I went to their high-end room. They had this room with really, really high-end, super overly expensive guitars, the Fender Custom Shop and some of the higher-end boutique brands. And I saw the McMull, and I was trying to put together a video on different Telecaster styles that aren't Telecasters, right? And I picked that up, and immediately I was like, "Oh, this is different. This is really, really cool." And it's still Telecaster, but it's something different. It's its own thing, and it feels really, really wonderful. So, and then I went back the next year and I played a different one, and I had the exact same feeling. So the consistency is very, very good, and that's something that's I can't say about almost anybody. I very rarely find this is a mind blowing guitar, and then I'll try another one, and it's kind of a different thing. So to have two that I tried that still gave me the same fuzzies inside. Is very, very rare, So there you go. McMull Heartbreaker. Great guitar.
Nice. Good guitar. Very, very good. I trust you, Jay. I believe you.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I got your thumbs up of approval.
Oh, of course. If Jay says it, then I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm sure that's how it is.
Yeah, I'm sure it sounds good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Trust Jay. Trust in Jay when you can't trust anybody else.
Trust in Jay. Hey, you know what? I'll be honest with you, okay? I play a lot of guitars, okay? I've played so many guitars. I could say, when a good one's a good one, it's probably a good one. Probably. I don't know. Then again, there's a lot of people that play a lot of guitars and they have horrible taste. So I might be one of those people. So I guess you really just have to kind of, but the thing is, I'm saying it with a lot of confidence. So I could kind of trick people to think I know what I'm talking about. But, I guess in the end of the day, you have to try it out for yourself. Too bad that you can't just find them anywhere. It's too bad. That's the problem with boutique gear. You can't just find it anywhere. But
I know there's so many people that message me that they're like, okay, Blake, the Benson amps. You're always talking about the Benson amps. Are they really that good? I'm like, Chris doesn't pay me any money. Okay. I promise he doesn't pay me any money. He never has. They really are I was like, Jay, you need to play this amp. And you were like,
yeah,
whoa. I'm not just blowing smoke here. They really are what I say they are.
Well, Blake, you've played a lot of amps in your day. Okay, so you would know. I think I've said this story on your podcast before, but I met Benson amps. We were in what was it, Portland or what was it,
Tacoma,
Seattle or something? Yeah. So there was that Tacoma guitar show, and there was this room which was all the amp builders, and everyone kind of had metal amps, these 100-watt 412s, and just blazing in the room, just all this, meat and saturation and sustain and distortion. And the loudest thing in that room The only thing that I could hear apart from the buzz of everything else was the 15-watt little Monarch, little Benson 15-watt Monarch. So if you want to be that obnoxious guitar player that everyone can hear, then you might as well get that Benson amp. If you're gonna have a volume war with somebody, you gotta try one of those Benson amps. You might actually win. Very, very well voiced. I love those amps. I have one that I use all the time, the Chimera, which is wonderful amp. In fact, I think it's just sitting in the background of all my videos too. I use it quite a bit.
It's good stuff. It really is.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about some specific stuff, like
okay,
because you wear a lot of guitar playing hats, a lot of different
guitar playing
things.
hats. Okay,
yeah. So like you gig all the time. We talked about your adventures in China. You started the YouTube channel. You do all kinds of stuff in the guitar world. You're talking about you went to Germany and done all this stuff. So like, as soon as the COVID hit, obviously gigs went bye-bye. But did you did you like use that time to just be like, all right, I'm going to create a bunch more content? Or how did you like approach that, that side of the biz suddenly drying up?
Man, it's COVID was a really crazy thing. And what it did, actually, there's a lot of little things in work and personal stuff. But from a personal standpoint, what it actually made me realize is how much I work and how much I work too much. I wear a lot of hats. I do a lot of things, and it forced me, losing the gigs, it kind of actually forced me to spend more time with my parents. And my wife is actually a frontliner. She does all the contact tracing, and she's with the health department. And she's been so every time there's an outbreak, I know she's going to be working late because she's going to be trying to nip it at the bud, right? Before it becomes an issue. I think that's why Vancouver did so well in keeping this thing away, because they were so on top of it. Every time there was a little bit of an outbreak, they just worked their butts off to make sure that they could get that, that circle out and cut things out. So that was really good. But because of it, I was stuck with the kids full time. The daycare was closed, and I was raising the two kids by myself and cooking all the meals. I've never done that. I was always, the weekend dad, the nighttime dad sometimes, because I always had gigs at night, or the morning dad. But the full-time thing, it was it was kind of like learning to a whole new skill set and learning something completely different. It was wonderful. It was a great thing. It was great for my wife was on mat leave for a long time, so I kind of saw things from her point of view. And now that she was working late hours, she saw from my point of view. So it's just great for us, and it was great for the kids getting to spend time. But in terms of the work, luckily, I was very, very lucky that right before COVID hit, I started Patreon, a Patreon thing, and I had a couple Patreon people, and they managed to I managed to amass enough money so I could redo the whole set of my video studio. So if you actually watch my videos from 2020, late 2019, you could see that, there's all these new sets and new cameras and everything. And I managed to get everything streamlined really, really quick so I could film stuff a lot faster and get stuff done a lot more efficiently. And so that way, with the wife being gone, I was only able to work on 2 days a week. And that was on Sundays and Mondays. And on Sundays, that's when, Easter was, and our anniversary and our kid's birthday. There was like 7 Sundays where I had something. So I only really worked 1 day a week. But because I had that set up due to the Patreon support, I was able to keep making videos throughout this whole thing. And now that things are opening up, I could see that, I'm doing a lot more recording stuff. So we have a little recording studio, and we're starting to start getting people coming in. Luckily, we keep it really, really small. We have a pretty big studio, so it's 2 floors, so we can keep things relatively, separate and everything like that. And a lot of really cool projects. There's that tennis player that won Wembley, I think, Vasek Pospisil. We're doing an album for him. And
I didn't know he's a musician.
Lots of Yeah, he's a guitar player. He sings and stuff like that. Cool. So we're going to be working on that's the latest project that just came down, and slowly gigs. We're doing a lot of, I think last week we did a photo shoot for a magazine. The Band Aid is like a wedding magazine, so we were the band, and so slowly I'm beginning to see that, the work's coming back. I played my first wedding in a long time. We had a wedding gig, which was really weird. It was like 30 people in the actual wedding, and we were so spread out, but they were so happy to see each other, and they were so drunk that it felt dead. There was only 30 people on the dance floor. It felt completely dead, but their energy was like, they were so excited. It was like a weird dichotomy of it's empty, but it's really banging at the same time. It was just really, really weird. But one thing that kept me going through COVID as well is I play at a church, and they do virtual church services. So they've been streaming church services over every Sunday. So I'm one of the very few musicians that was able to play kind of, I guess it's a gig, it's a paid gig. So I get to play gigs every weekend. And so I luckily have been able to keep sane that way. And then, the extra hanging out with the kids, it's really, I haven't, I wish, I'm so jealous of my friends that can just, they had this time to make that album or to do this passion project or to get stuff. I had no time for that, but because of a little bit of organization on my part, I managed to be relatively busy and relatively stimulated.
Yeah. It's just so weird. Everyone's experiencing such different things, and your experience in Vancouver is a lot different than what we are seeing down here, even in Portland. The U.S. is like, everyone wants to say like the U.S. response has been really bad, and I'm just like, well, it just kind of depends on where you live, I guess. Like it's been different in every state. So, and like I probably going to get a lot of crap for this, but like there's no reason that the rules should be the same in Montana as they are in New York City. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, okay.
It's a different. People are spread out.
It's a different beast.
There aren't as many people, first of all, and they're not stacked on top of each other. So things, we're a big country. And there's a lot of different angles to this. So I'm not saying I have the answers or know anything, but it's just, I'm saying that all to say is like everyone I talk to, their experience is just a little bit different.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I exactly. Even in Canada, like Ottawa or Ontario and Quebec, they have, pretty big, trouble that they were dealing with. And where we are in Vancouver, it's been, it's obviously we've been putting a lot of work into it and being on top of it, but it's definitely been quite, I've been surprised by how we've managed. I think it's because everyone was kind of on board from the beginning, and it kind of kept, because we were on board and because we had a little bit of support, from people, it just made things maybe a little bit easier on us. And so we were definitely one of the very, very fortunate places during all of this.
That's good to hear, because I need my boy Jay to be safe.
That's right. That's right. I need to be fine.
I need Jay for my mental health. I need Jay to be safe. That's what I need.
Oh yeah, exactly. You need to be okay, man. It's so hard for me to speak because, I guess we're also in a different country. So what the information we're getting here and how it's so different than what you guys are getting. And all I hear from you guys is obviously secondhand information or little things you hear about there, but I'm not in the States. I have no idea what's going on over there. I could only speak to my personal experience.
Don't worry. We don't have any idea what's going on either.
Yeah, no, I guess nobody does. It's been crazy stuff.
I do know this much though. And I remain very optimistic. Like, we're going to get through this. This is going to be one of the most insane times in any of our lives ever across the whole world. But we as humans will get through it, and everyone will have a little bit of different perspective on it and all that jazz. And it's probably gonna, I've wondered before, like, you hear people say like, oh, my great grandparents grew up in the Great Depression, so they were all, pinching pennies or whatever. And like, I wonder if it'll be like, oh, well, yeah, my parents grew up in the COVID pandemic, so they're always obsessed with hand sanitizer or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Who knows? I know. I feel like this might just be a dress rehearsal for something else. I feel like this was good in that it kind of got everyone thinking about this, about being a little bit more safe and maybe how we do things on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully if something like this happens again, we'll be more prepared and we'll be more united. And I think that's what it's really about. Because you look at some countries like they were really, really on top of it because they were dealing with other explosions in the past. So they kind of had that mindset and they were able to get it done. So who knows? I have no idea. All I know is how to tune a guitar and make it sound okay when I play it on the chorus. So I'm not a health professional at all.
I do know one positive that has came out for me personally. It's something that I never thought I would be able to stop doing, but I've
What's that?
This managed to break this habit. Biting my fingernails.
You don't do it anymore.
I started to I was like, the whole don't touch your face, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, found myself going to chew off a piece. And I was like, yeah, that's not a good idea. Like, don't do that. So yeah, now I'm cutting my fingernails like a normal human being.
Look at you.
30 years, 30 plus years.
What a big deal. Good for you, man.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, everyone thinks that I'm swallowing them when I say that. No, I was put them in the garbage. That's just how I cut my nails. I just bite them off, and I know it's gross. I'm sorry. I understand.
It's things we do.
Yeah,
but no more. It's a human thing.
No more.
I never was a fingernail biter. I just couldn't do it because if I tried it, it might cut in a weird way, and then it'd cut in too deep in a place, or it wouldn't be even. I'm very conscious of the shape of my fingernails.
Yeah, well, you've seen me. I'm not very conscious of anything as far as how I just some redneck from who knows where. It's like, what is this guy doing?
Exactly.
But I see Jay and he's all put together, looking good.
Oh, yeah,
up there on stage, just rocking it. I'm like, man, I need to step my game up. I really need to.
I never realized, if there's anything I learned from this COVID thing, how fun it is just to wear track pants all day. Sweat, all my running clothes, I'll just wear them all day. And I'll tell you, man, everyone had that figured out except for me. I feel like I was the last person to figure out how awesome that is. Just wearing a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants. Oh, lovely. I love that. That was wonderful. It's wonderful. I enjoy it so much. I don't even want to wear pants. I don't want to wear pants anymore. When I'm around the house, it's a little bit dark. Just put my pants off, just chill out. I'm just one of those. These are the weird things that I'm just learning that everyone seemed to have figured out before I did.
Well, I don't know. My wife has shamed me because I continue to wear my regular clothes. She's just
your regular, you'll wear a suit to
no, I don't wear
the living room or something like that.
No, I don't wear suits. I look like a buffoon in a suit. It's not a good thing. But just simply wearing jeans. She's like, why are you wearing jeans? I'm like, I always wear jeans. This is what I wear. I don't know. Why are you shaming me for wearing jeans? But then my regular clothes are comfortable. That's the thing. I think that's why she's girl clothes don't look all that comfy. Let's be honest.
They could be constricting in, places and then loose in places and flowy. So I can't imagine that being very stressful.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my regular,
I wear.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. I usually wear relatively tighter clothes, so I understand the love of this looser thing. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, for me, right now, and this is my regular summer attire. I'm wearing a tank top and shorts.
Beautiful.
So it's not exactly uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It's pretty, pretty comfortable. It's a Chase Bliss mood tank top, actually, to bring it back around.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yeah.
Actually, that's one thing I will say. I've been wearing more guitar company t-shirts than I've ever have in my life. I have a stack of they're great, jam pedals. And usually when I get a pedal from a company, they'll bring in a little t-shirt just to kind of, hey, rah, rah, rah. And they're really wonderful people. And so I've been wearing a lot of gear t-shirts. And I was not walking down. I was driving somewhere and I saw a guy with a Rev shirt. It's like, wow, there's other of us. There's other of us. But wearing stuff. So I like the fact that I don't have to wear, I don't have to dress like I'm going to a gig. Gig clothes are very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. I don't know. I mean, but Chris Benson always makes fun of me because for a long time, every time he would see me, I would be coming home from my job at the terminal when I had that job. And so I'd like go by his shop because it was on my way home. Well, at that job, I had to wear coveralls all day and a hard hat. And so I just wore gym clothes underneath because it was like, I don't want to wear another layer of pants on. Like I'd be wearing like two pairs of pants, like, and just sweating like crazy. So I'd wear my regular gym clothes, and he would just laugh at me every time I come by. This, you're always wearing gym shorts. I'm like, well, like I'm gonna go to the gym after work, and I don't want to wear regular pants under my fireproof pants. That's just sounds miserable. But anyway,
do you think it's important for like, you know, so I guess when people are, you know, I guess in some parts of the world, people are starting to get back into work and playing some music, wearing, you know, like gig clothes, you know, clothes that have, you know, as opposed to just wearing your normal everyday stuff to the gig. Do you think, how important that is that, do you think?
I think it kind of
for the average guy. You know,
yeah.
Obviously it's different, you know, obviously if Alice Cooper goes on tour and he's wearing a pair of like, you know, easy fit jeans and some Crocs, it's not, you know, it's not going to do the job. But I'm just saying, you know, you're the band, you're playing at the local bar, it's a Friday night, you know, post COVID, we're all out again. Everyone's happy. You know, how important is it to wear something that at least has some kind of, at least you're matching, or you kind of are dressed that you look put together? Or do you find some people find that really fake? They want someone to wear like, they want someone to look like they just came off the street. So what do you think?
I think it totally depends on what you're doing. Like if you're playing like a kind of a really polished like R&B or pop type of setup, then I think like kind of dialing it up a notch in the attire department is cool. Like it makes sense. It works, right? But if you're playing like a like Springsteen stuff, then you kind of just want to wear your regular clothes, right? You know, of course you're playing like and then if you're playing in like a metal band, you kind of want to like, you want to fit the part. I think you always want to try to fit the part for whatever you're doing. Not that you couldn't play metal in, a suit. You super can.
Yeah.
I just think like if it were me, that's how I would approach it. If I was going to go gig, I'd be like, hey, am I playing like a punk rock gig? Because if so, then I'm I guess I would probably kind of dress how I normally dress. But like if I'm playing like stuff that you're playing, I'd probably have to get a nice suit. Probably have to dial it up a little bit. That's what I think.
Well, I like. Don't get me wrong. I love playing, in a suit. For the gigs that actually call you to wear a suit, but I do agree with you. I think you kind of have to dress the part because people don't take you seriously, especially if it's like just like a cover band that's like at a bar. If you all go look like you just came off the street and everything like that, it's hard. People they won't take you seriously. I feel like, it's one thing to wear jeans, and then it's another thing to wear jeans that, look good. You know what I mean? Like there's Friday jeans, and then there's like Tuesday jeans. You know what I mean? There's like the Friday t-shirt. And so just because, look at Bruce Springsteen, right? Like, look at him. He's doing more money. He has a pair of torn jeans and like a leather jacket and a shirt. But look at that. Look at that combo, and look how well thought out that combination was. It wasn't just any pair of jeans. It was like the perfect Springsteen jeans. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So I think, or, like when you go out there and you have like some like weird overstretched t-shirt and there's like a mini hole in it and everything like that, there's a part of me that goes, I don't know, man.
I think you're right though. You gotta look the part,
or at least match your guitar. Don't play a $6,000 guitar and look like you're wearing $20 everything. Do justice to everything. Do justice to.
Well, you're putting on a show, right? Like you're playing music, but you're putting on a show. You wanna have something that people want to look at, like not in like a look at how hot that guy is thing. Well, I mean that could be your thing, I guess, but like if you want to be interesting to look at, whether that's how you're playing, how you're moving, how you're dressed, it's like all a thing, right? You want to entertain people. That's what you're doing. You're supposed to be entertaining and engaging, or you're not really doing doing the thing, you know. But you're right. Dress for the part. Do, you know, whatever you're doing, there's an outfit for that occasion. And I think that applies in life as well as in gigs.
And everything. Like, yeah, exactly. You know, on that note, like relicking. Because people say, oh, you got to dress the part. Say you're playing in that, you know, rock band or that, you know, kind of Bruce Springsteen band. You know, are relic guitars? Is that a good thing? Do you agree with relicking, or do you think it's kind of a cheap kind of way out, or you know, kind of a poser kind of thing? I guess is what some people say.
Well, I have a couple different thoughts on it. You know, so relicking can be done very poorly, and it can be done well. And there's also guitars that I've seen that if you looked at it, well, actually, a really good example is somebody who was on the podcast recently. His name's Michael McCleary, and he plays in a band called Surfer Blood. He has this Jaguar that if you look at it, you would probably say, wow, somebody did a really bad relic job on it. That's what you would probably say. Or a really like, you know, medium, like that somebody who was trying to relic it and make it look authentic, and it's not. But actually, it is authentic because that guitar was literally in a house fire, and he went to he was like, I'm going to refinish this. And he started sanding on it. And then he was like, wait a minute. No, I'm not. This is going to like take away the story. So if you look at it, you kind of look at it and it's like, well, this looks like somebody was trying to relic it and then didn't do a very good job. But really what happened was it was in a house fire. He sanded it a little bit and he's like, never mind. I want this to still remain how it is. And therefore it's cool to me.
Yeah.
So the point is, he's like, you don't always know, but you know, I've seen some really nice relics. Mike Adams, who goes by Pusheen on Instagram, he was showing me a couple of guitars actually at that Tacoma show where he was like, which one do you think is a vintage Fender? And which one do you think is a Danocaster relic? And honestly, I picked the wrong one. I thought the Danocaster was legit. And because it was a Fender guitar that he had refinished and reliced. And I picked the wrong one. I thought the Danocaster was legit, and it was actually the other way around. So relics can be done really well. I don't really care if it makes you happy and it plays good, then cool. I understand wanting a guitar that has that worn-in feel without having to have been the one to wear it in. That's why I have a couple vintage guitars. You know, but a quality relic job can get you there too. So whatever makes you happy.
I guess so. You know, I'm hot and cold on the whole relic thing. For me, it's more personal in terms of I wear out guitars a certain way. So if a guitar isn't worn out the way I would wear it, it doesn't feel like my guitar. You know, I actually look for certain markers on guitars to kind of give me reference points because of the way I wear it. So that's kind of where my problem with the relic is. It never really feels like it's me, unless it's a relic that's, you know, they reliced it in the way that I would play it. But unfortunately, you know, we all play like snowflakes. Everyone's a little bit different, right? So, you know, I never thought it was a big deal though, you know, until one of the things that I get a lot in the comment section is a lot of people assume that my guitar was a heavy relic, right? They don't think that. Right. And even in videos when I said, "Oh, this guitar was actually, you know, it was slightly relic but the relic was more for they wanted to have that off color on the body, you know, and maybe just a couple dips, little chippies here and there. But it was a relatively light, not nearly what it is now, but." I mentioned that in my video, and a lot of people they just say they call me a liar. You know, they literally say I'm lying because, you know, you're and for some reason that really bothers me, and I don't know why. Like the fact that people think that my guitar is a relic, because I think it's a relic even though it's not a relic, that bothers me. Yet for years I've always thought, oh, you know, relic, not relic, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything. It's fine. You know, it's, you know, personal taste. But for some reason I do get triggered. You know, deep in my like subconscious, I get upset when someone says, "Oh, it's obviously a relic. It's not." You know, you know, someone might say, "Hey, beautiful guitar, great thing," and something like, "Oh, it's obviously a relic. It's not a real thing." For some reason, there's a part of me that kind of goes, "Ugh," like, "Ouch," and I don't know. I'm still trying to interpret that for myself.
Well, I understand why you would feel that way, especially because I've watched that guitar get reliced over the years.
Yeah.
Like I've known you
Yeah, I
long enough
guess
at this point. But like I remember when you like not when you first started your YouTube channel, but pretty close is when we started talking. And and I watched that guitar wear more and more. I think maybe even in the first episode, I was like, "What happened to that guitar?" We've been talking about this for years, and it's only gotten more and more wear. And I think the people who are saying that I understand why they would assume that, but they really need to watch how you play. And I will say though, like watching you play in person, like live and in person, like from 2 feet away, the way I have versus on you, people don't understand how you play. You cannot really comprehend the way that you play without actually seeing it in person. I don't think.
I see.
I'm not just blowing smoke. Like you have a very unique.
It's aggressive.
Yeah, it's aggressive and it's consistent. And every time I've watched you play, I'm like, oh wow, like that's so. It's unique. It's different. I've never seen anybody play like you, and so I know that's a legit guitar. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Exactly. But again, it really shouldn't matter because, usually when you see something just off the bat, if you see a beaten up guitar played by someone right off the bat, do you immediately assume it was a relic? Is that where you first go?
No.
Or do you usually go, oh, really?
I usually, I mean, I've ran into many more like vintage guitars with interesting wear than I have legit relics. Just in the stores that I go to, they don't tend to carry a lot of relics. They're there. Don't get me wrong. I've definitely seen relics. But most of my experience with well-worn guitars have been actual vintage guitars. So
really, that's so different. Like I don't blame people for thinking I play a relic just because when I do see a guitar with the word Fender on it and it's really beaten up, I assume, I immediately assume it's a relic. So that's why I don't blame people for thinking it's a relic, but that's kind of where my mind goes because I think it's the only way a custom shop guitar could be. They can justify charging how many tens of thousands of dollars is because of the extra work it takes to relic it. So I see, for some reason, I guess my experience is completely different than yours.
I don't know what it is. You also are around a lot more professional musicians than I am, so that might have something to do with it. I don't. I mean, that's changing a little bit, but like I don't gig or anything, So
you're around. You talk to but to all your guitar stores, I guess you see more clean custom shop Fenders than you do relic custom shop Fenders.
That's been my experience. Don't get me wrong. I definitely see them. But maybe it has to do with like the shops that I go to aren't quote unquote official Fender dealers or weren't until recently. I think Old Town
I see. Yeah.
just became one like last year or the year before. But for years they weren't. They weren't actually a Fender dealer. And don't quote me on that. They might not be. I can't remember. But most of the shops around here are not Fender dealers. At least the ones that I go to. So that could have something to do with it. They deal a lot in used and vintage and smaller builders and things like that.
Interesting. Isn't it cool? We're just not that far apart, but we have very, very different experiences. Usually when I see like in my local store, there's actually that's I guess that's the difference. The places I go to, they're actually Fender dealers. So they have, when they bring in the custom line, it's usually I usually just see relics. So maybe it is how many Fender dealers are there in your area kind of thing.
I bet you that's what it is. And because I don't, the only ones here, I mean, I think Old Town is a Fender dealer now. I can't remember for sure, but the only ones around here really are like Guitar Center, and I only go to Guitar Center in like emergencies.
Emergencies. How many Guitar Center trips do you have a year? Like, is it more than you can count on your hands, or is it no. Like
it's probably like 3?
Oh, really? So you don't go to Guitar Center?
Yeah, I mean, my local one is fine, and going in there kind of brings back a lot of memories because it's like the first guitar store that I knew of and would go to. But they don't necessarily every time I go in, they have less stuff that I'm interested in. Here 4 or 5 years ago, it was really improving. there was like a lot of cool pedals, a lot of really interesting secondhand things, a lot of really cool stuff that this particular store was starting to get in. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I can't believe Guitar Center's getting cool again. And I know there are better locations than the one I'm describing. Some of them are very cool. But this one just shifted gears back to like the same old, blah, 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 like nothing unique, nothing different to look at, you know? And I was like, well, why, if I'm going to go have fun at the guitar store, I'm going to go to Black Book Guitars. I'm going to go to Old Town Music, where like they have all this really off the wall stuff and a huge pedal selection and, you know, people who know what they're talking about and all that stuff. So yeah, there's not any other Fender dealers outside of Guitar Center near me that I can think of.
That's true. I guess they really kind of corner that market, or there might be some kind of rule or something like that.
I don't know the details, but I know for a long time Fender and Gibson both had very, very, very large minimum order quantities that most small shops could not handle, you know? So I don't know if they still do that. I don't know the inner workings of that, but I do know that was a factor for a long time. Because we had a local store here, like right in town, that was just like 10 minutes from me, that just hated Fender and Gibson. They would do nothing but talk bad about Fender and Gibson, and they were a G&L dealer. That was their thing. So I don't know what the landscape is now.
For you personally, because you have a wonderful, cool collection of stuff, and you know a lot of different brands. Do you see yourself getting one of those big name guitar brands anytime soon, like a Fender, a Gibson, I don't know, Rickenbacker or a PV, or you know, just a big box kind of name? Or would you think from now on you're going to be more small companies, small boutique, personal dealers or builders and stuff like that?
You know, for the most part, I think that'll be the approach that I take. I will probably be purchasing, you know, smaller builders and vintage stuff probably for the bulk of my collecting life. However, I am planning on buying. I was really impressed with the new Epiphone stuff I played at NAMM, and I am planning on buying when it comes out. Emily Wolf has a signature model Epiphone that's coming out that she showed me at NAMM, and I'm probably going to buy that. It's super cool. It's like an ES style with the Trini Lopez diamond holes, and she's got this really cool lightning bolt inlays, and it's flat black, and it sounded and played really awesome, and I really like her as a musician. So I'm probably going to buy one of those because I think it's awesome guitar. So,
super cool.
Yeah. I'm planning, like, I think it's coming out in January 2021, and I'm like setting aside some money for that because I want one.
That's the big purchase. There you go.
And I don't have an ES style guitar, so it fits right into that.
You don't have an ES style guitar?
No.
You know, I still don't personally. I don't personally own a Jazzmaster style guitar, and it breaks my heart.
I just got my first one this year.
Really? Jazzmasters and Jaguars. I don't know. I love those guitars, and I just have not gotten around to getting one. Not yet. But that it has to be right up there because it's a sound I don't really get, and it's so wonderful. They're so cool.
This Jazzmaster I got. This, I don't know if you've seen me post it. It's the Carmine Street guitars in New York City. They do the whole like reclaimed lumber thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I've talked about it a lot on this podcast, but since I haven't talked to you about it, so he gets lumber from iconic New York buildings that are being torn down or refurbished or something. And so this guitar has the body from a place called McGurk's Suicide Hall that was torn down. And this is, you got to imagine, is like a place of ill repute. Gangs of New York era, like literally like that vibe, like scary,
yes.
bad place. Bad place. That was torn down. It was in the Bowery in New York City. He got some wood from that. And then the neck came from I believe it's New York's oldest church. The bell tower caught on fire. And while that was being rebuilt, Rick snuck in there and got some of the old beams from the bell tower. And that's where the neck came from for this Jazzmaster build. And it looks so cool. And it has this massive neck. I think it's like a 1-inch neck. It's huge. And I don't know. It sounds amazing. And Cindy, his apprentice, she does wood burning, and she wood burned the buildings in the back of the guitar. I'll have to send you some pictures.
That's cool. Did you? Does it have like the P90 pickups, or they're the Jazzmaster style pickups?
All old school Jazzmaster stuff. Righteous Sound made me the classic Jazzmaster set, and then Gun Street Wiring did the harness in it, and it's all old school Jazzmaster.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. All right. Sold.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That was a pretty
awesome.
Big one for me, and I love that guitar, and it's a very unique playing experience. So, yeah. Well, I just realized that we're over an hour already.
Oh my gosh. Well, we went through a gauntlet today. We actually didn't start probably talking about anything music related until like, I don't know, the 40-minute mark. So I think we're good.
That's what happens on this podcast sometimes.
Every time I end up talking to you about food or something like that. I'm okay with that.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I always have fun talking to you.
Oh, this is a great time. Do you have anything you want to leave the people with?
Leave the people with? Nothing really. Just, stay safe and be good to each other. Be good to each other. Perfect.
And don't forget to subscribe to Jay's YouTube channel.
And subscribe to stay safe, be good to each other, and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash
it.
Turn on the bell.
Smash it.
Yeah,
just
smash
get it. Bat that bell. Do it. You can do it. But yeah, follow me if you can. But more importantly, stay safe and be nice to each other.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. All right, man. Well, maybe we'll try to sneak in a little Patreon if you got time.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm J Leonard J at Patreon. You can support the page, and the money does go towards the page. It makes things much easier. I do most of my videos are product demonstrations and stuff, and the Patreon, it gives me the budget to make more personal videos, more tutorials and lessons and stuff like that. So more comes in there, the better the gear is, and the more kind of general content you're going to get, more interesting content you're going to get as well.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much, Jay. This has been a pleasure as always. So we'll wrap this thing up. For Jay, this is Blake. And as always, folks, good luck and good tones. All right, there we have it. There's another episode in the can, as I like to say. If you really enjoyed this conversation and you'd like to help support the show and keep this thing going, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/tonemob, and you'll find an extended version of this conversation with Jay. In fact, you'll find extended versions of most of the conversations that I've had on this podcast since we've been on Patreon. So it's just $5 a month to get started at that. You'll get an extra episode of some sort every week, most of which are extended interviews. So if you like these conversations and you'd like to help this thing keep going, that is the place to do it. But if you don't have the scratch, I totally understand, because these times are weird. And it's tough out there. So all you have to do is tell your friends. We got to keep these downloads coming in. I literally get paid by the download. Every time you choose to listen to this show, it puts a little bit of money in my pocket, like 0.0000 something cents. But hey, it counts, right? And that helps buy groceries. Let's be honest, groceries are my favorite thing because I like to eat. All right, one last thing before we sign off here. If you go to tonemob.com and see the Join the Mob tab on the side of the website, click that and sign up for the newsletter. You'll be the first to know about something very important. Well, outside of Patreon subscribers. Patreon subscribers actually get very first crack. But if you want to be early on and get all the info about the cool thing coming up, because there's a cool thing coming up, go to tonemob.com and hit the Join the Mob tab. All right, without further ado, get on to your next podcast. Hopefully it's another episode of this one. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right, take care, people. Bye. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.